What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over what I wish I knew before I started lifting. So before we get into this video, I'm going to go over my own fitness story and my experience with lifting. So I'm 16 and I've been on my fitness journey for the past 2 years. So when I first started during the COVID lockdown, I just did push-ups and ab workouts in my room, and eventually I transitioned into doing dumbbell workouts over the course of that school year. By the time the school year came around in September 21, which was grade 10 for me, I started doing actual gym exercises, including cables, dumbbell, and machine exercises. My style of training is bodybuilding, but I do occasionally go for 1 rep maxes. For instance, on bench press, my current 1 rep max is 145 pounds, and I'm 16, but that was in March earlier this year. I've never done a deadlift or squat 1 rep max, but I have recently done a 205 pound deadlift relatively easily, and I can do a 155 pound squat for 4 reps. I plan on going for another bench PR and maybe even a squat PR, and I might upload them here. Let me know guys in the comments down below if you guys would be interested in seeing that. Anyways, let's get into what I wish I knew before I started lifting. I'm going to be splitting up this video into 3 categories, which you guys can go to if you guys are more interested in another part. So I'm going to be splitting them up into training, diet, and recovery or rest. So first up is training. When it comes to training, you can generally classify all types of training into either strength, endurance, or hypertrophy training. And hypertrophy training is essentially muscle growth and size. You might think that strength and muscle size do go hand in hand, and that is true to an extent. Although a person might be obviously bigger than you, they could easily be much stronger than you, and that's totally reasonable. But say for instance your goal is muscle size and you have a friend whose goal is strength, it could be totally reasonable for you to be much bigger than your friend while your friend is much stronger, just because you guys have different goals. Aside from that, it's important that you find out which route you want to take in weightlifting so you can build your own personalized plan. If your goal is strength, you want to move heavier weights for less reps using more compound exercises like bench press and squat. Compound exercises are essentially movements in which you use more than one muscle. If your goal is hypertrophy, you want to move less weight for more reps. And if your goal is endurance, you want to do even less weight for even more reps, further more reps past hypertrophy. Now, generally, if you're doing hypertrophy or endurance style training, you want to do more isolative exercises such as bicep curls and leg extensions. Isolation exercises are exercises that require only one muscle to complete the movement, or one, maybe 2 sometimes. Now, very generally speaking, if you do an exercise and you do 5 or 6 reps or less, you will build strength, and if you do 8 or 9 reps or more, you will build muscle. Obviously, this isn't 100% true, but it is a good way to understand the difference between muscle growth and strength training. Now, moving forward to your individual workouts, it's important that you find really good exercises to maximize your growth. Now, I've done a lot of research on many different exercises, and I know which ones will work best for me. So I have my own personalized plan at this point. So I'm going to list them out on the screen here. Here's arms, chest, back, legs, and abs. Pause it if you need them. Another very crucial part of your training program is progressive overload. Now, the word in itself might seem pretty daunting, but the concept is pretty straightforward overall, and that is to just move more weight over time. Now, you can either increase the weight that you do, the reps that you do per set, or the number of sets and overall volume that you do in a workout to progressively overload. This strategy will ensure that you progressively overload your strength and muscle size over time to maximize your progress. There's a lot more to break down in progressive overload aside from the simple concept, but if you guys would like me to go into more depth in a future video, let me know in the comments down below. Moving forward, one of the most important things I wish I learned when I first started training was lifting intensity. At the start of my fitness journey, I would only train until I felt a little bit of pain and then I would stop. And because of this, it really limited the amount that I could grow. Once you start working out with more intensity, you'll notice that not only will you get more gains out of your workouts, but you'll also harden and toughen your mind, and this will allow you to push your limits in every aspect of your life. Alright, moving into diet now, there's quite a bit to break down. Generally, when it comes to lifting, there are 3 main diets that you can use, and you can incorporate them into your training plan to get the results that you want. And those 3 are bulking, cutting, and main gaining. Bulking is when you eat more calories than you burn, which makes you gain mass and weight. If you do this alongside resistance training, you can put on a lot of size and strength in a really short period of time. Cutting is when you eat less calories than you burn, which makes you lose mass and weight. If your goal is to lose body fat percentage while maintaining muscle mass, size, and strength, then cutting is perfect because it will allow you to get leaner if you combine it with adequate protein and regular resistance training. Main gaining is essentially a combination of cutting and bulking in which you eat the same number of calories as you burn to maintain your mass and weight. When you combine main gaining with resistance training and adequate protein, it will allow you to get bigger and leaner at the exact same time, just at a slower rate. I suggest you guys give both main gaining and a bulking and cutting cycle a try just to see which one is easier to sustain and gives you the most progress. For me personally, bulking and cutting has shown to give me much better results than main gaining. For food nutrients, most people will just look at protein, fats, and carbs. And while these are important, I notice a lot of the time many people in the fitness industry will essentially neglect their health to try to increase their gains. You need to be looking at macronutrients such as fats, proteins, and carbs, which I just said, just as much as you look at micronutrients such as calcium, potassium, and other vitamins. This will ensure that you have a healthy and balanced diet while also striving towards your fitness goals. Finally, we have recovery and rest. This area of fitness is often neglected by most lifters, even though it's arguably the most important of the three. Because not only does it help with getting your lifts in every single day, but it's also important for day-to-day work and performance at work and school. Generally speaking, the average teenager my age needs to sleep 8 to 10 hours. However, this number does change for different age ranges, so I suggest you guys give it a Google before you go forward. However, once we know how many hours we need to sleep, we should adjust from there, because hours of sleep are not the same as hours in bed. If you need 8 hours of sleep every night, you should try to be in bed at least 9 hours every night in bed. Now, in lifting terms, having adequate rest and recovery will ensure that you maximize your growth over time. If you overwork your muscles and don't let them get the recovery that they need, then your workouts will essentially backfire. Remember that your muscle only grows when it's not working out. That's when it's repairing itself, and that is only when you will see progress if you let it recover. Certain splits like push-pull legs and Arnold split, which is chest and back one day, then arms, then legs, they ensure that you get 3 to 4 days of rest between each muscle's workout. So by doing this, you ensure that the muscle gets enough rest between training sessions. Recovery can go as far as resting long enough in between your sets so you can go as hard as you can on your following set. For me personally, I will do my first set and then I will wait until I know that I can do my next set as hard and as much weight lifted as I did on my first set. Many people will say that you should only rest 1 to 2 minutes between sets, but that's a lie. Rest times between sets are different between people. However, most people should aim to have roughly 3 to 5 minutes of rest. For me personally, it is around that 3-minute mark, but it can be 5 minutes or higher depending on how intense my previous set was. That's about everything I would have to say for recovery. So to summarize, what you want to do is find out which path you want to take for training, and then find good exercises for your specific niche in training. And then after that, make sure that you incorporate progressive overload in your training plan. And then finally, make sure that you have proper intensity in each of your workouts to ensure that you're pushing yourself every single day and you're maximizing your muscle growth over time. For diet, figure out whether you want to bulk, cut, or main gain, and then stick to that with resistance training. And also take a look at your micronutrients and macronutrients the same level and make sure that you aren't sacrificing your health for making gains. And finally, for recovery, make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Actual sleep. I cannot stress this enough. It shouldn't just be hours in bed, it has to be actual sleep. And also make sure that you're resting between workouts so that your muscles can recover, and also resting in between sets adequately so you can push maximally in the following set. For future purposes, I probably won't go into so much depth into the everything fitness related in this channel, but if you guys would like to see that, then please let me know in the comments down below. But I can also suggest another YouTuber that you guys should watch, which his name is Jeff Nippard. If you guys are looking for a credible, science-based fitness influencer on YouTube, I would definitely suggest Jeff Nippard, as he will help you optimize your fitness plan and make sure you're making the maximized amount of gains. Aside from that, that's the end of today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys make this useful. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.